Have you ever had that feeling where the world just clicks into place differently? Where one day you see things a certain way, and the next, everything looks completely new? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the powerful and often invisible frameworks that cause these huge shifts. We're talking about paradigms.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to pin down what a paradigm actually is. Then we'll follow its life cycle, from that stable period of normal science to the moment the rules just don't work anymore, through the massive revolution in thinking that follows, and finally, into the whole new way of seeing that comes out on the other side.
But before we get into the weeds, let's start with this. A pretty provocative question, right? What if truth is just a shared agreement? It sounds a little wild, but this idea is actually the key to unlocking what a paradigm is all about.
And that question? It's the perfect launchpad for our first section. Let's really break down what we mean when we say the word paradigm.
Okay, so a paradigm isn't just one little idea. Think of it more like the entire operating system for our brains. It's this all-encompassing worldview that acts like a filter on reality. It literally sets the rules for what we think is normal, what's possible, and what's true.
Yeah, and here are a few different ways to get your head around it. You can call it a framework, a belief system, but honestly, my favorite is that last one, the invisible grammar of thought. It's like the hidden set of rules that structures every single sentence we form about the world. You don't see it, but it's always there.
The guy who really blew this whole concept up was the philosopher of science, Thomas Kuhn. And his big, game-changing idea was that scientific progress isn't this nice, neat, straight line of one discovery building on the next. Nope. He said it happens in these sudden, chaotic, revolutionary jumps where the entire rulebook gets thrown out the window.
So, where does the life of a paradigm begin? Well, it starts in a long, pretty stable period that Kuhn called normal science. This is basically life inside the box, where everybody's playing by the same rules.
During this normal science phase, the goal isn't really to make some shocking new discovery. Not at all. It's actually all about solving puzzles. The community works on the problems that the paradigm says are solvable, using the tools the paradigm provides. It's all about refining and confirming what they think they already know.
And this is super productive work. You've got scientists following classic examples, methodically chipping away at predefined problems, and making these small, steady improvements to the main theory. It's all about digging deeper within the known world, not looking for a new one.
Okay, so everything's chugging along nicely, but then something starts to go wrong. The puzzles get harder. The results start looking weird. This is the moment when the rules just seem to stop working, and you start to see the cracks in the foundation. And this is where the real troublemaker shows up, the anomaly. An anomaly is a result, an observation that just flat out shouldn't exist according to the current paradigm. It's a glitch in the matrix of understanding that you just can't explain away.
And this slide, man, it just lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you have what the theory predicts should happen, the rules of the game, and on the other, you have what the data actually shows, a result that breaks those rules. When that gap gets too big to ignore, you've got a real problem on your hands.
At first, people try to ignore these anomalies. They'll call them measurement errors or flukes. But they keep piling up, becoming these epistemological irritants, as the source calls them. They create this intellectual tension that just gets stronger and stronger until it forces a full-blown crisis.
And that crisis, that's the spark that lights the fire of a revolution. This isn't an update or a patch. This is a complete teardown of the old way of thinking to build something new from the ground up.
We are not talking about small adjustments here. As this quote gets at, these are seismic shifts. They don't just change how one person thinks, they fundamentally restructure how an entire community perceives reality itself.
This change often happens in a flash, in what's called a Gestalt shift. It's that classic aha moment. You're looking at the exact same facts, the same data as before, but suddenly your brain reorganizes it, and you see a completely different picture. It's not new info, it's a new way of seeing.
Of course, the most famous example is the shift in astronomy. For over 1,000 years, the paradigm was that Earth was the center of everything. But the anomalies, the weird looping motions of the planets, kept piling up. Then Copernicus comes along and says, hey, what if the sun is in the center? And once Galileo's telescope confirmed that, the old paradigm shattered. The universe didn't change, but our picture of it changed forever.
Now here's a crucial point. During one of these revolutions, the two sides can't even really debate each other. The concept is called incommensurability. It means they're using different logic, different standards of proof, different definitions for the same words. They are, for all intents and purposes, speaking completely different languages.
So, what happens when the dust finally settles and the revolution is over? That brings us to our final stage. What does life look like in this new world, with this new way of seeing?
And you know what's wild? The cycle just starts all over again. The revolution establishes a new, dominant view. That view comes with its own classic examples and its own set of puzzles to solve. And just like that, a whole new phase of normal science kicks off.
From the vantage point of the brand new paradigm, the old way of thinking doesn't just look wrong, it looks primitive, maybe even a little bit silly. The history books get rewritten. The old worldview gets demoted to a curious footnote, a misguided step on the path to the correct view.
And look, this isn't just some dusty, abstract theory about the past. Paradigm shifts are happening all around us right now. Think about it. AI is forcing us to redefine intelligence. Climate science is changing our entire relationship with the planet. Our ideas about social justice, about consciousness, these are all undergoing massive, revolutionary changes as we speak.
So in the end, understanding paradigms gives us a powerful model for understanding change itself. They are that metagrammar, the deep structure that doesn't just shape what we think, but fundamentally shapes how we're able to think in the first place.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. You see, the most powerful paradigms, the most controlling ones, are the ones we don't even know we're inside of. So the real question is, what are the invisible rules shaping your reality today?